It's really tough, bro Nash, because each and every August, that is when I am supposed to meet a new woman. When I meet this woman, she will become my sacrifice in December. It's either I sacrifice one amongst my relatives, or I sacrifice a woman that only would have started loving me because she would have seen how much money that I have. Most of the people, they don't even know that this is the life that I am living, but it gets lonely. Hey, it was back in 2018. I signed into something that I fully did not understand. And now I have to live a life where I have to sacrifice constantly. Back in 2018, I was a guy that was just struggling. I was living in a back room in Deep Kloof, trying to flip cars. My life was a cycle of waking up at 4 a.m., getting ready to go to repo yards around Ellensfontein, mid-rent auctions. Before those big guys, usually you compete with big foreigners that have money that can buy these cars for cash. Usually you're Nigerians as well as Zimbabweans, and then they can even sell these cars at a higher price in their countries. So life was okay for other people, but as for me, I had reached the ceiling where I wanted something huge, something big. Me and my friend, who was my business partner, we were into this business of buying cars and flipping them. I would stand there with my little notepad, sweating in the sun, praying that I would find a car that I could polish up and sell even for a 5,000 profit. That 5,000 was the difference that helped me and my friend to keep the lights on at our yard, because we had a small yard, because we also had a small towing business. It was the difference between eating and skipping meals. I was hungry, but this was not hungry for food. This was the hunger for me becoming wealthy. I wanted to drive different cars. One day I messed up. I bid on a white BMW 3 Series. It was clean, and I knew I could double my money quickly because I knew this other colored guy who wanted such a car. He had already told me that he had a big buyer that wanted that BMW 3 Series. I had a buyer who swore that he had cash. But the moment that the hammer went down, this guy, he stopped answering his phone because he was supposed to deposit the money into my account there and then so that I can be able to pay. I was looking at my phone as if I was a fool. The money was there. This guy who was going to be my customer, he had the money. We had done this before. I stood there in front of the auctioneer and the crowd was looking at me. I felt my face going red. I did not have the 10,000 deposit. I felt like a small boy in a big man's world. The security was already moving towards me to tell me to get out. A guy that was standing nearby, he was quiet. He was this guy who was from Zim. He came to me. He thought that I was from Zim, and he spoke to me in Shona. I looked at him and I pretended as if I understood, and I told him that I was in trouble. And he asked me how much I was supposed to pay, and I told him the amount. He did not even look at me whilst he deposited the money on my behalf. He just signed the slip and handed it to me, and he said that he wanted to assist me, and later on he told me that he knew that I was South African, even though I had pretended to him that I knew Shona. He said, "I can see that you are a hustler. You remind me back in those days when I came to South Africa, I had this hunger. I wanted to be rich no matter what when I came to South Africa." We walked to the parking lot and we spoke up about the business that we were doing. And he told me that he liked me and he did not want me to become a beggar. He said, "Come and let us have coffee in Rosebank tomorrow." For months, this man, he was grooming me. He was just a mentor to me. We would meet at Starbucks and he would show me the papers. He taught me how to check for gearbox issues because we were having a little bit of problem, me and my friend. We would just look at the body, buy it, then we will fix it. He told me which models were in high demand in his country. Even if I would buy, he would help me to flip them and sell them directly to Zim guys that came to South Africa to buy cars. Our business started flying. I moved out of the back room and I started staying in a flat in Princeton. I used to laugh when people talk about these guys who use snakes for wealth. I told even this Zim guy once over a steak dinner he paid for, and I said, I don't believe in those village things, man. It is all about the hustle. When I first saw you, I thought that you have topologies, but now I see that you guys from Zim, you work really hard. You just need to work hard and you need to know the right people in order for you to become rich. This guy, he just nodded as he was sipping his wine. He never argued about anything. He said hard work is the foundation, but there are times when you need to make sure that you are helped by people that have money like me. Around the 8th month, that was when he told me that he was going to see his advisor about a fleet of trucks that he wanted. And I asked if I was able to go with him. And he said, yes, we can go together. He told me that I should cleanse my luck regularly just to keep the momentum, because in the locations, there were those that were jealous, that would feel jealous because of the way that I was making money. So this was a guy that had been helping me. And I said, why not? If this man has been assisting me to make so much money, let me go with him so that I can be cleansed. And I said, why not? It's probably just like a Sangoma checkup for business. We go to the doctors just for a checkup. What is really bad about going to a Sangoma for a business checkup? We went to this big house. It was in a quiet suburb. It was very nice. There was nothing that screamed money rituals. There was no bones. There was no blood. There was this other man who was there, even though he was from Zim. We spoke for a very long time, and he told me that he was going to be the one that was going to take my business to the next level. And in order for that to happen, there was a contract that was supposed to be signed. And this was a contract to make sure that my business was protected. And as for me, I was protected as well from people that might try to come and to steal from me. Anyone that would try to hijack me, they will just feel lazy. Even if I go to the bank and withdraw a lot of money, if there is anyone that will tip off those people that hijack you when you would have withdrawn a lot of money, then those people won't even bother to follow me to my place. And selling cars, it is not an easy thing to do, especially if you do not have a dealership. You are selling your cars for cash. You meet different type of people, different characters, and some of them that do not even have good intentions. So he reminded me about this business that we were doing of flipping cars, and he said that things can get messy really quickly and they can try to hijack you. You go with a car thinking that you're going to meet a buyer, then you see people that are waving, pointing guns at you. So I signed this contract. I had seen movies before about people who sell their souls to the devil, but I had no idea that it can be so simple like that. I was told to take a needle, then I stepped myself a little bit so that blood can come from my finger, and I was told to drop the blood on this white bond paper. There was nothing that was written. I was just told that this meant that those things that protected this Zim friend of mine was also going to protect me, and there was blood that was needed on that piece of paper. That is how I sold my soul to the devil. And since I had been assisted by this Zimbabwean guy, I just wanted to show gratitude. When you are with a person that has money, a person that you believe will change your life, and you know that this person is a millionaire, that person can make you to do things quickly without you even realizing that you are doing rituals. Some of you will come across such a situation. You might be a woman, you end up sleeping with a man that did not even propose love to you, and you end up giving what is between your legs to that person freely, unlike what you would do when a poor guy approaches you. I guess that this is what money does to people. So I had given a sacrifice, and I did not know that each and every year I was supposed to offer my gratitude to this Zimbabwean Sangoma. Later on, I figured out that he meant a donation to someone that is crippled, blind, or someone that is not fully able bodied. And I thought that this was a good thing to give these gifts to people that struggle in the locations. I was so happy when I started making money. Then the money did not stop. It was as if I had opened a tap that I could not turn off. With the money that was flowing in, I did not even know what to do anymore. The woman who was my baby mama, I could not be with her because she was not of my class anymore. I wanted more women that were born in wealth. I moved to Senton, to a penthouse where I can see the whole city. I bought the car that I always loved, a G-Wagon. I felt like I was untouchable. And in December of that first year, remembering the gratitude that my Zim mentor and my friend, I bought a big goat from a Boer farmer, and then we took it to that same place, and then we had a braai. I just felt like I was a traditional man doing the right thing, because he told me that this is what we must supposed to do as Africans. We are supposed to sacrifice once a year, because this is what even our ancestors used to do. They sacrificed livestock. But then things started getting weird. In year 2, my business partner, who was my best friend, he just stopped answering my calls. We were supposed to go to a car launch in Durban. 3 days later, his sister called me and she was screaming, for he had a massive stroke in his sleep. He was still young, fit, never smoked. He was the one that made sure that I always was grounded whenever we would go out clubbing. He always made sure that I don't make stupid mistakes. I sat at his funeral, looking at his mother's face. I did not even suspect that he had died because of me, because of that contract that I had signed. I just told myself that this is the way of the world. It was the circle of life that had claimed my business partner when we had started enjoying money. I paid for the whole funeral, the catering, the his, which was a luxury his. I told myself that I was being a good friend. Then year 3 came. I was dating another woman. We were talking about a future. In early December, she was driving to her mom's place in Polokwane, and then a truck hit her head on. The police just said that the truck's brakes failed, and this guy who hit this car just ran off. He was a Zim guy without papers. So to me, it really made sense. It was just a normal accident. A guy who was not even legal in South Africa, who was working driving trucks, he had hit my woman and she had died. And it was an unfortunate thing that had happened. I pushed the thought of me sacrificing her away. I did not want to believe that my money was tied to her death. I told myself that I was just having a run of bad luck, but I started getting these weird panic attacks. I would be standing even in a shop. It once happened at Woolworth. It was very embarrassing. I was standing there looking at the organic fruit and my heart started beating so fast. I felt so weak. They even took me to the back and I had to be taken by an ambulance because I could not stand anymore. By year 5, I could not ignore anything. Every time that it got close to December, someone that I cared about would end up in a coffin. My favorite cousin passed away, my uncle, everything. It was the same thing. These people, they died. It was always sudden and unexplained death. I tried to call my Zim guy, but then he told me that he was now moving to Mozambique. He was going to come back to South Africa. And I drove to this guy who was the person that helped me with the rituals, the Sangoma. It was very surprising. When I arrived there, the house, it looked like it had been empty for years. I sat in my penthouse and I looked at my bank balance. There was one time when I had nearly 15 million in my account. Then I started thinking about all the people that I had lost in my life. I never wanted to go to Soweto. I can't imagine sitting in a taxi again. I am above that level. I just can't fit in anymore. I told myself that if this is what it is, then let it be. By year six, I started going to different sangomas. I had already cut off my family. I told my mom that I am busy, and whenever she calls me, I really do not want to speak with my mom. So when I went to this sangoma, that was when I was told that in order for me to keep this money, for it not to return back to Zim, to the shrine of that sangoma that assisted me, I am supposed to look for a woman. This is a new covenant that I entered into. So around August, towards the end of the year, I am supposed to meet a woman. Usually, I go to high-end lounges and then I meet a woman in a bar. And this is a slay queen type, the kind of a girl who is looking for the bag. She does not care about anything. All that she wants, I give it to her. The champagne, the lifestyle. I can buy you whatever that you want, go with you wherever you want to go to. I keep it shallow in the relationship. I don't tell you much about myself. So whilst we are dating, then I sleep with you on this other bed, and inside this bed there is real human blood that was taken from a person that died in an accident. So this blood was put inside of the mattress. This mattress, I only use it when I am sleeping with a woman that I would have started dating in August, September, October. Usually I break up with you in November. After November, I cheat on you so that you can dump me and you can delete me from your life. Usually I can sleep even with your sisters, with your friends, even with your mom. I have done it before so that you can hate me with all of your life and then you die. Usually the way that this woman that I would have dated will die, it is through an accident. It is 2026 now. I am 36 and I live alone. These women that I have slept with, they all have miscarriages. If it happens that they would have fallen pregnant for me in the time when I am dating them. I have been doing this for a long time and I am not yet tired. I'm still going on, and it just hurt me that I always wanted to be rich, but I never knew that I was going to end up being rich and feeling so lonely like this, because all the relationships that I have entered into, they are not realistic. They are relationships which I enter into so that I can sacrifice that person, the woman that I will be dating. I once dated this other woman. She was only 22. When she got sick, she told me that she felt like she was about to die and she does not know what is going to happen to her daughter, who was only 1 year old at that time. And I had already forced her to have two abortions, one in August and another one in November. And I slept with her mom's little sister. She was so much in pain when she told me that she felt like she was dying, and I had also broken her heart. Your dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with our brother in the comment section. Yo.